Hey everyone, this is Nick Moffat with the fourth episode of Spring Cleaning Movie Project, in which I take all the movies off my shelf that I haven't seen and do short reviews on each one. So last night was a Friday night and I did a double feature of Billy Crystal movies. The first movie I watched was Throw Momma From The Train. Came out in 1987, starring Billy Crystal and Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito also directed it. The other one I watched was the 1989 more classic When Harry Met Sally. I'll be honest, this movie didn't make any sense to me at all. Danny DeVito was just obsessed with killing people, but he didn't really want to do it himself. But then he ended up killing Billy Crystal's ex-wife for him in a misunderstanding. Billy Crystal was a very unlikable dude throughout the movie, and he ended up pushing or almost pushing Danny DeVito's mom from the train. It was a screwball comedy, and I'm just going to be honest, it just didn't really register for me. It just didn't make sense to me. The humor just didn't land. The story just, I don't know. I just kept thinking, like, is it a Billy Crystal thing? Maybe I just don't really get Billy Crystal. When Harry Met Sally, like I said, it came out in 1989. Rob Reiner directed it. This movie is actually really, really great. It's very charming. It has a lot of points about relationships. Like, I really appreciate this movie for how it moves through time. Like, it starts with them going to college, and then it's 5 years later, and 5 years later after that, and like you get to see how people change over time, and that's something I really appreciate. And it had a lot of just like lessons in relationships throughout the whole movie, which can be some of my favorite movies, like Annie Hall, High Fidelity, Almost Famous. These are movies that say something about relationships. Even like with the Will Smith like Hitch movie, when they have something to say, I usually I can lean toward it. And man, Meg Ryan was just fantastic in this movie. Again, though, it kind of, for me, it comes back to Billy Crystal. Like, I just don't know if I really get Billy Crystal that much. His character, he seemed just kind of a doofus the whole movie. Like, his whole thing, the whole movie was about this concept that he was hung up on, about how men and women can't be friends. The whole premise of the movie was like, they can't be friends, and then they find a time where they can be friends, and then they cross the line, and he can't handle it. And there's this really, really amazing moment where they call back the first time that they meet, and he like realizes what we've all seen the whole movie, that he's a doofus, and he like realizes it. But then the movie, like, you know, I'm spoiler a little bit, but he like runs back to her and he's like, I want to spend my whole life with you. And it's one of those things where I didn't buy how fast that transition was. You know, like I said, like other movies like Annie Hall or High Fidelity, they kind of like, they linger in that time. You know, he goes back to her, but then they also still have to figure stuff out. And so I left at the end of this movie like, oh, cool, he realized he was a doofus, but he realized he was doofus in the wrong way. He didn't realize that his basic premise that men and women can't be friends was wrong. He just decided to jump to a bigger conclusion that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with this person, which made me kind of be like, are they going to make it? Like, I don't fully buy that they're going to actually, like, stay together forever, because the movie doesn't show them having actual sexual chemistry except for that one time that they hooked up. I would have preferred if the movie had been longer and they had spent more time exploring that part of their relationship. But again, like, Billy Crystal's kind of just, in both movies, he's just kind of an unlikable doofus. I don't know. I think it might have been like a time period thing where I kind of may have missed the Billy Crystal train. But I definitely liked When Harry Met Sally a lot more, especially the first like few thirds of the movie. I felt like they were exploring a lot of relationship issues and a lot of like complexities between people. So When Harry Met Sally, definitely charming film. Throw Momma From The Train, screwball comedy. I can't really say too many good things about it. So anyway, thanks for watching the Spring Cleaning Movie Project. Have a nice day.